guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary and high school age. Today I am going to be sharing the curriculum reviews for Jack's resources and curriculum that he used for the 2023-2024 year. He would be in 8th grade if he were in public school, but we did a full 9th grade year for him this year. You will notice I'm wearing the same shirt as I did in my other 2 videos. If you've watched those, I am recording them all in the same day. I decided not to change between videos. I'm just trying to get these done because I know everybody is looking for curriculum and resources right now. So let's get started. Okay guys, so first off, I will start with his history and English. He used Sonlight level 100 for history and English this year. We cut about a third of the American history literature books. Yes, American historical literature books. We cut about a third of those books, and we actually added some of the level J books that he had not read a couple of years ago when we did level J for Emma and Jack, which is the history of science. If you've not done the history of science level and you have 7th, 8th, 9th grade kids age, I would definitely recommend it. It was one of my absolute favorite levels from Sonlight ever. All of their history of science selections, the book selections were amazing, and the level J literature, really good. It was a lot of sci-fi and fantasy books. So fun for my kids. Okay, so we will start with history first. It is American history. It is before Columbus, all the way through the 20th century, and I love this level. We did this several years ago with Emma, and I loved it then. They updated their spine. This year, I think, was the year that they updated the spine, and the new spine is America, the Last Best Hope. We did that for the first semester and did not like it at all. It was very dry. Was very dry. And so after our first semester, we ended up changing back to A History of Us by Joy Hakim. I really like those books. There are definitely biases in all books, on all history books that are written by one author, and well, any history book, there's going to be bias. So we did have a lot of discussion, but I just prefer those books much more than America, the Last Best Hope. I don't know if it's because America, the Last Best Hope was just text, just tiny text for 900 pages, or if it was just dry content. I love history, and it was really challenging for me to get through it with him. I did mention this in Emma's video as well. The high school Sonlight levels are actually written for the student to do completely independently, and then you either just check their answers that they've written down or kind of go over things with them. But I love history, and so I always do history with my kids. And that means the novels that are assigned, they read. The history novels, they read. But the history spine and some of those extra books that are more fact-based, I guess, and not like a novel, I read with them and do a lot of discussion, and that's just how I enjoy it. It does take me a lot more time to do that, especially with 3 different Sonlight levels, but I said this in Emma's video as well. I just love the discussion, especially in high school, to watch my kids develop their own opinions about history, about the world, about current events. It is one of the best parts of homeschooling, hands down, for me. We dropped The Last Best Hope, America, the Last Best Hope, and ended up doing the second half of books from Joy Hakim. The Joy Hakim series, I think, is 10 books. And so we did that. We also included World War II, which by Richard Mayberry. It's an Uncle Eric book. I'm looking at my book list right now, and it is not on the new book list. It is from the old level 100. We read it in the old level 100 with Emma and did not like it. This year in level 300, the World War I book was scheduled. And after we read the World War I book, Uncle Eric, World War I realized that the reason that I didn't like the World War II book was because it had referenced so much stuff that he talked about in the World War I book that didn't make sense because we hadn't read the World War I book before. So we did read World War I, and then World War II I actually read again to Emma and included it for Jack as well. Again, tons of great discussion. I talked a lot about this in Emma's video, which was posted a couple of days ago. I will leave that linked in the description box if you want to go watch it. But it's from a libertarian point of view, and I thought it was really fascinating, the view that he took on a lot of the different things that happened in the lead up to America getting into World War II. Really, really fascinating perspective. So I definitely enjoyed that. We did drop a couple of books from this besides America, the Last Best Hope. We did not read Constance, A Story of Early Plymouth. We did not read The Many Reflections of Miss Jane Deming. And we did not read Cameron Townsend, which I believe is the missionary story for this level. But oh, and The Cross and the Switchblade, we didn't read that either. But we read all of the rest of the history books and enjoyed them quite a bit, had some amazing discussion. It's my second time through level 100, and I feel like it's actually been pared down quite a bit. And I think part of that is because the Joy Hakeem books, again, that was a 10-volume series, 10 or 11. I feel like there's an 11th book, but it might just be reference. So it seems like there are fewer books, but that America, the Last Best Hope, if you stick with that, I think it's like 800 or 900 pages. So it's very, very thick volume spine for the year. Then for American historical literature, when I was setting up my year, I was unsure of whether or not I would do level J literature for Jack, and I ended up purchasing the level J worksheets that go with the language arts for level J, and I already had all of the books, or if we were going to do level 100. I was unsure of whether or not the level 100 would be just too big of a jump. He's on the younger end for level 100. Emma was also on the younger end, and he is not as much of a fan of the literature selections from Sonlight as Emma has been. So I wasn't sure if he would do okay with a level of work or if I would just use level J instead. So we ended up starting with some of the books in level J, but quickly we moved right to the level 100 and worked through that with no problem. He did a great job. We do drop some of the books. There are 25 books in the American literature course. It's level 130, I think is what it is. And there is a paper every week. And so I cut quite a few of these books and some of the writing assignments for him, but he did a great job with all of these books. I think that it was a really good year for him, and I think that he's developed his writing voice quite well. I know a lot of people will ask about the Sonlight language arts, and we've been using it for so long. I know that some people struggle with it because there hasn't been as much of a rubric to grade, and you're just kind of unsure of how to grade your kids' writing. But they have redone their rubrics, and I think they may even be coming out with some newer information this year with their high school levels. So don't be discouraged, and don't think that you have to do every single writing assignment because it is very, very heavy. I know that people will just do the literature selections and the discussion with the literature and then do something else for writing. In the past, we've kind of combined Sonlight with Brave Writer, less so in the high school years just because we really haven't had as much time, but in the younger levels we have. But I think that my kids do a great job with the Sonlight language arts. We do drop a lot of the projects, especially around October, November, because my kids participate in NaNoWriMo every year, where they Preptober, where they prep for their National Novel Writing Month in November, where they choose a word goal and write their novel. But overall, I think it was a really good year. The few that we dropped were, let me see, we did not read Bonanza Girl, My Heart Lies South, Out of the Dust, Keeping Score, and When You Reach Me. But we read all of the other books Oh, that's not true. We also didn't read Stink Alley or Peace Child, but we read all of the other books and enjoyed them. I liked them all. I've read them with Emma. I pre-read them before Emma, and so that was how I was able to kind of go through and decide which ones I knew Jack was not going to read. So overall, history and English were good. They're not his favorite subjects. He is a computer guy. He just wants to focus on coding and doing animation and creating games and stuff. I try to give him a lot of free time for that. He is my student that will get everything done as early in the morning as possible so that he can move on to his passion projects throughout the day. So he's very diligent about getting his work done, and I appreciate that about him, because Emma is more of a, oh, I'm just going to do it all through the entire day. I'd like everybody to stay in just a morning block so that I don't have to focus on school later in the day, but Lucy and Emma are cut from different cloth than Jack. So then the next subject was physical science, and I kind of created my own physical science. We did a lot of outside homesteading type stuff. We used these books that I cannot recall the title of right now. That's why I'm putting a picture up here. I have used these books in the past. I think that they're fun. Just these books, though. There are some other books that this author has written that I do not find appropriate, but these particular volumes I think are good resources to use. We also use the Everything You Need to Know About Science Big Fat Notebook. I think that's what it's called. Again, I will put another picture here. And he went through every chapter of that and did all the questions and everything. And overall, I think it was a good science year for him, really firmed up everything. Next year, he's supposed to be doing biology. Biology was a total disaster for us when Emma did it with Apologia. The third edition, I think, is what they did. It was so vocabulary heavy, which I know biology is, but it was just too much. There was too much information. So I'm really unsure what we're going to do next year. I'm still struggling with staying on that college prep track. I know that he doesn't necessarily need to do biology. We could go a more creative route. I have considered having him do some sort of more in-depth computer coding class or something like building a computer from scratch. I'm really unsure. It's something that I have to think about, but science for this year was good. Again, it's not he is very singularly focused on computer coding and animation. He's creating a video game. He's been working on that pretty much all year. And then he's also working on an animated Minecraft series where he's doing a lot of animation and video editing and voice work and all of that stuff. So that's kind of his fine arts elective category, I guess. So we're really unsure what we're going to do for science next year. But that's not about this video. Okay. Then the next class that he had was Japanese, and we used the From Zero program, and he finished that in the middle of March, I think, is when he finished up the book one From Zero, and we are going to continue that next year. I'm unsure if I'm going to get it sooner rather than later. If he's been doing Duolingo, just the free version, just to keep up his practice, and he will probably go through and rewatch the videos just to refresh everything or go through the workbook. But I've really enjoyed the program. He's learning a ton about Japanese, and that's one thing that I am just not able to help him with at all. So Spanish I can do. I took Spanish in high school and college, so Emma's Spanish I can help her with. I can still read Spanish very well, even if I cannot speak it. But Japanese is just a whole nother level. And but he is really enjoying that program, so we will continue that for Japanese too. Math, he did Algebra 1 through teaching textbooks. He did a great job. He will do geometry next year through teaching textbooks. We're not planning to change anything. I did buy the geometry Life of Fred book just in case he needed a little extra practice. And I also have the geometry Big Fat Notebook resource book that I used for Emma because she really struggled with geometry. It wasn't that she struggled with it, she just really didn't like it at all. And when you don't like a subject, it's really hard to get through it. So, but she loved Algebra 2 this year. That's her favorite subject. Jack has done fine with Algebra 1. He gets through it. Geometry is next. teaching textbooks. We're just going to keep going. So let me see. History, English, math, science, foreign language. Those are all of the resources that we use this year for Jack. I said this with Emma's curriculum video. I was happy with all of our choices this year. The only thing that I had to really switch out was America, the Last Best Hope, and I just added in the Joy Hakeem books instead. And we did also add that Uncle Eric World War II book into Jack's Level 100, which I did with Emma as well. I did it as a read aloud and discussion book, and it was a lot of fun for us. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this video was helpful for you. If you have specific questions, please let me know in the comments, or you can email me. My contact form is in the description box. If you are looking for a Japanese program, I definitely recommend the From Zero program. It's very user-friendly and self-directed. Jack is able to watch the YouTube video lessons and then do the workbook, and he has learned a lot and can say a lot and talk to me about a lot, and I think that's amazing. Yes, so again, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.